Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to come on here and talk about Hijrah because more and more people each year are doing it, and I felt certain reflections around this topic. Numali Khan did a great video talking about this fear that we do have living in America, and how it doesn't, or like this idea that the environment is making my faith so weak. I feel like people do seek hijrah because they really want an Islamic environment, and we have to really boil down what that means, and boiling it down to, is there a fear around being here for your faith? And I find it kind of interesting when people do have fear around a particular location, because as Imali Khan was saying, in history, there had been many people who have been in very non-Muslim dominated environments. So for example, like Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was able to stand up and question using his voice, and yes, there was things that could harm him, like imagining being in that environment and making a stand, and also ruining those idols and things like that. And also later on in history, when people had to spread Islam and going into non-Muslim dominated environments, and this is based on something that's boiling and sparking inside of them. It's not because of their fear of the environment, right? The reason why I question a lot of people taking that step to hijrah is because there is already Muslim environments here. Like, it's crazy that it's already cultivated here, and people have to be willing to step into it, tap into it. And I feel like we are lacking it here, that we're lacking this leap, but we're willing to leap so far to get it somewhere else. People kind of dump all these benefits with an Islamic purpose. And how do you really get to an Islamic purpose by itself when there's so many added benefits? And I feel like that's why America and Canada can strive together really well. As I'm seeing on masjids in America, the reason why they can strive so well seems to be that they don't have free healthcare. There's a lot of struggles there, and they congregate so well because of common struggles. And marginalization actually has caused them to force themselves to be together stronger. For us to just drop everything and be like, yo, it's true, seasonal depression and all these things, but then where are you scared to struggle? So I wanted to use an example like my neighborhood. So for example, I see so much potential because this is a dominant Muslim neighborhood. Like, majority of this neighborhood is Muslim, and so sometimes I'm like, yeah, we should have the best neighborhood, the cleanest neighborhood, the most advancements, and we should have all these programs to serve the community, but it's not here. But when you're looking at other areas in US and things like that, you see that they had a vision for themselves where they were planted. And I think that's an essence that I really enjoy from America, is that they really have put a lot of effort into making it where they are, and not necessarily jumping to another country where it is already, because I think people do get exhausted from community work, and it's really hard to get an end result, but you are striving for something where you are planted. So our neighborhood should have these things, but it doesn't. But that doesn't make me defeated. That doesn't make my husband defeated. That doesn't make people defeated to want to strive to that end goal. And people need to care for other people more. I think people just need to just see common problems and be like, hey, let's fix where we are. So I do want to conclude with what Numali Khan was saying a little bit also about fear, and talking about the emotion of fear a little bit. So for example, take some of the things like LGBTQ, what other fears people have about infiltration of different religions, how their children's modesty will turn out, and all these fears. I do not fear any of that, because I know that Allah has given us the solution to, we're part of the solutions. So the job of a Muslim is to solve to be in these environments like Ibrahim alayhi salam was, and how many of the Sahaba were in environments that did not serve them in their comfort. They did not serve them in their comfort, but they knew their position. They knew their strength as being a Muslim, and they conquered land, and they did so many accomplishments. And why can't we have that same fire beneath us to be in these environments like Canada and US? So it's a really interesting topic. I really recommend the lecture to go further into this topic from Numali Khan. And yeah, assalamu alaikum.